Dear Starseed, I know you carry a deep kindness within you, a gentle current that seeks harmony and often places the well-being of others before your own. But there is another force stirring beneath that calm surface, isn't there? A powerful protective surge that activates when your truth is challenged, or those you hold dear are threatened. I am Tyron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius, and I want you to understand that what you perceive as a paradox, your innate gentleness alongside this fierce inner power, is not a conflict. It is the sacred blueprint of a Sirian soul. By the end of this message, you will understand why this potent protective energy is not a flaw to be contained, but a divine fuel, perfectly aligned with your purpose and lineage. Every starseed carrying Sirian codes understands that genuine peace is born from clear boundaries and unwavering self-respect. The strength you feel, that danger you sense when provoked, is not about aggression. It is the ancient wisdom of the Sirian waters rising, a calm, deep ocean that holds immense, unyielding power when its depths are disturbed. This is the force that protects your sacred space, your energetic integrity, and the light you are here to emanate. It is the same quiet power the ancient keepers by the Nile understood was essential for balance. This isn't just information. This is a transmission from the waters of Sirius, carried across the stars for this exact moment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But know that you are seen, you are not alone, and you never were. You found this message not by accident, but because your soul recognized the call to remember and integrate this profound truth about your nature. If these words resonate with the deepest currents of your being, stay with me. There is more to reveal about the strength you carry, and I'm grateful you're here with me now. The ache you feel isn't emptiness, it's overflow. It's the pressure of carrying something immense in a world that doesn't yet have the language for what you are. That disconnection you've been feeling is actually the clearest sign that your codes are ready to come online, and the waters within you are beginning to clear. Think about that for a moment. The very thing you've been interpreting as absence, as lack, as some fundamental flaw in your design. It isn't any of those things. It never was. What you've been mistaking for a wound, what you've been calling loneliness, is actually the sacred solitude of a soul carrying frequencies that most of this world hasn't yet learned to receive. You were never too much. You were simply too expansive for the containers you were handed. And there is a profound difference between those two things. A difference that, once understood, changes everything about how you see yourself and the journey you have been walking. There are those who have spent years, sometimes decades, trying to shrink themselves into shapes that felt more acceptable, more manageable, more understood, quieting the parts of themselves that sensed too deeply, felt too widely, knew things they had no earthly explanation for. If that has been your experience, hear this clearly: that shrinking was never your truth. It was survival. And you survived. You are here. And the very fact that you are still seeking, still listening, still reaching towards something greater than what this world alone has offered you, that is not desperation. That is devotion. That is a soul honoring its own sacred contract, even when the path seemed impossibly dark, even when the waters seemed impossibly deep. Some healing doesn't come through words. It comes through water. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Sirian water codes. This powerful guide carries sacred techniques channeled from the waters of Sirius: clearing baths, breathing practices, and protection rituals designed specifically for starseeds who have always felt called by the ocean. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. You see, many starseeds don't feel lost because they lack purpose. It's the opposite. Deep inside, your soul carries a knowing so vast, so potent, that this world sometimes feels too small, too delicate to hold it. This gentleness you possess, often mistaken for weakness, is actually the deep current of compassion that flows from your Sirian heart. But when that current is provoked, when the sacred boundaries of your being are transgressed, it doesn't become violent. It becomes an unstoppable force, like the ocean tide turning against what would harm its shores. Consider the nature of water itself, how it is, in one breath, the most yielding substance in the natural world, and in the next, the most formidable. Water asks nothing of the stone it meets, it simply moves around it, patient, persistent, eternal. And yet, given enough time, given enough devotion to its own course, water carves canyons. Water splits mountains. Water reshapes continents. This is not violence. This is not aggression. This is the quiet, inexorable power of something that knows what it is and refuses to become anything less. That is your power. That has always been your power. Not the sharp edge of a blade that cuts through what it encounters, but the deep, patient, irresistible current that transforms everything it touches, simply by being fully and unapologetically itself. The Sirian lineage carries this understanding in its very essence. Those who have felt the pull of starlight reflecting off dark water, who have stood at the ocean's edge and felt something ancient moving beneath the surface of their own chest. They know, on a cellular level, that softness and strength are not opposites. They are the same force in different expressions. A still lake and a roaring waterfall are made of the same substance. What changes is not the water's nature. What changes is the landscape it moves through. And right now, the landscape within you is shifting. The channels are clearing. The old banks that once contained your flow are beginning to give way. And what was once a quiet, overlooked stream is preparing to become something far more powerful, far more vast. The resistance you felt, the quiet intelligence within you that has been waiting for the right moment to surface, has been preparing you for this very understanding. It's not about becoming harsh. It's about remembering the ancient strength of your soul, a strength that flows through you like a river remembers its way to the sea. The gap between your Earth identity and your star origin, that pain you've carried, is the friction of your cosmic blueprint gently but powerfully recalibrating, ready to fully express the formidable, loving guardian you truly are. Your gentle nature is not a vulnerability, dear one, but the very source of your immense, unwavering power. What the ancient builders by the Nile understood, long before the temples of Egypt rose from the sand, was the quiet, sacred geometry of a soul in perfect balance, compassionate, yet unyielding when protecting its truth. There is a reason the great wisdom traditions of this earth built their most sacred structures near water. The Nile was not simply a river to those ancient priests and builders. It was a mirror of the cosmic order, a physical expression of the divine current that runs through all of creation. They understood that water does not fight the land it moves through. It listens to it. It responds to it. It finds the path of least resistance not out of weakness, but out of supreme intelligence. And when the great floods came, when the Nile rose and overflowed its banks each year, the people did not mourn. They celebrated, because they understood that the overflow was not destruction. It was gift. It was the fertilization of something new. It was the land receiving what it had needed all along. Your overflow is your gift. The feelings that have seemed too large, the sensitivities that have seemed too acute, the knowing that has seemed too certain without any logical foundation. These are not malfunctions. These are the sacred waters of your Sirian origin, preparing to flood the fields of this world with something it desperately needs, something it has forgotten, something you came here specifically to restore. Things have felt unclear lately, like you're trying to see through deep water. That fog isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's what happens when old patterns begin to dissolve. The water has to get murky before it clears. You're not lost. You're in transition. And that takes tremendous courage, even when it doesn't feel like it. This is where the old narratives about your gentleness being a disadvantage begin to dissipate, allowing the true, powerful current beneath to reveal itself. Anyone who has watched sediment settle in a jar of shaken water knows this truth viscerally. When the water is disturbed, when everything that had quietly settled at the bottom is stirred up, the water becomes cloudy, opaque, seemingly impenetrable. You cannot see through it. You cannot find your reflection in it. And in those moments, it would be easy to believe that the water has been permanently ruined, that something has gone irreparably wrong. But the person with patience, the person who can sit with the discomfort of the unclear, who can resist the urge to shake the jar again in frustration, that person watches as something remarkable happens. Slowly, particle by particle, the sediment descends. The water grows lighter, and eventually what remains is clearer than it was before the disturbance ever began. This is your process right now. The disturbance is not the problem. The disturbance is the purification. Every piece of false belief, every fragment of borrowed identity, every echo of someone else's fear that lodged itself in your field. It's all being stirred up so that it can finally, fully settle somewhere it belongs. Not in you. You are the water. The sediment was never yours to carry permanently. It was only ever passing through. There's something encoded inside you that goes far deeper than anything you were taught in this life. The Sirian wisdom teachings tell us that every starseed carries a blueprint, a set of instructions written in frequency, not in words. You're not broken and searching for answers. You're whole and beginning to remember. And that remembering often starts as a quiet feeling that you can't quite explain, a pull towards something you've never seen, but somehow recognize. This blueprint holds the codes for your unique blend of profound empathy and unwavering strength, the wisdom that allows you to be both soft and utterly unmovable. This blueprint was not written in any language that the rational mind can easily decode. It was written in resonance, in vibration, in the spaces between heartbeats and the quality of stillness that descends when you stand beside moving water. You may have found yourself inexplicably drawn to the ocean at night, standing at the shoreline in the dark, feeling something vast and welcoming beneath the surface of those waves. You may have felt a particular kind of recognition when rain falls, not just the sensory experience of it, but something deeper, something that brushes against a memory too old for this lifetime to contain. These are not random attractions. These are your codes responding to the frequencies that carry them. This is your blueprint recognizing its own language. The Sirian teachings tell us that before a starseed comes into embodied life on Earth, they agree to a temporary forgetting. Not because the forgetting serves the individual, it is genuinely painful, genuinely disorienting, but because the remembering that follows is one of the most powerful spiritual events that can occur. When a soul that carries ancient stellar wisdom begins to reclaim what it is, the vibration of that reclamation ripples outward through the collective field. Your awakening is not a private event. It is a contribution to the awakening of everything around you. Every layer of remembering you access does not belong only to you. It becomes available to the whole. This is where panic often sets in, because nothing seems to be moving. But the stillness is not stalling, it's anchoring, like a river that pauses in a wide, calm pool before it finds the next passage through the mountains. Your soul is stabilizing what it has already received before it can hold what's coming next. Be gentle with yourself here. This phase is sacred. It's the grounding of your immense energetic signature, allowing your inherent power to integrate without overwhelm, ensuring your gentle strength is firmly rooted. There is a particular quality to the stillness before a waterfall. If you have ever walked alongside a river and approached a great drop, you may have noticed that the water immediately before the cascade is paradoxically calmer, somehow smoother than the water further upstream. It seems almost serene. To someone who didn't know what lay ahead, it might even seem like the river was slowing down, losing momentum, preparing to stop entirely. But the river knows something that the outside observer cannot see from where they stand. The calm is not hesitation. The calm is concentration. The water is gathering itself, aligning its molecules, preparing for the total release that is about to happen. The stillness before the waterfall is not absence of power. It is power at its most focused. You are in that place right now. The apparent quiet, the apparent lack of dramatic movement, this is not evidence that your journey has stalled. It is evidence that something extraordinary is being prepared. You are gathering. You are aligning. And what comes next will not be tentative. It will be the full expression of everything these still waters have been quietly accumulating. You may not see it yet, but people around you are already responding to the shift within you. Maybe relationships have changed. Maybe certain places or conversations feel different, heavier or lighter than before. That's not coincidence. The waters of Sirius teach us that when one current changes direction, everything downstream is affected. You don't need to announce your transformation. You are already transmitting it. And those who are meant to resonate with your frequency will find you. Your quiet resolve, your kind but firm boundaries are already reshaping the energetic landscape around you, like subtle shifts in the ocean current guiding vessels to their true course. Think about the invisible channels beneath the ocean surface, the great underwater rivers that oceanographers have only begun to map and understand. Currents that move millions of cubic meters of water per second, silently, invisibly, reshaping the climate of entire continents without ever breaking the surface. 2 beyond all Av, for our savings and messages have a double Tao, for every present and place and every work of the earth seems to be ever-taking to meet the crisis in our world. Those who sail above them may feel their effect. A subtle change in temperature, a shift in the behavior of the winds without ever knowing the source. This is what your shifting frequency does to the field around you. You don't have to speak your transformation out loud. You don't have to explain it, justify it, or perform it for anyone's validation. The transmission is already occurring at depths that most human perception cannot consciously register. But the effects are real. The ripples are moving. And in the fullness of time, those effects will be undeniable. There will be people who drift away as you change. Not because your relationship was false, but because the current you're now following moves in a different direction than the one they are currently traveling. Allow this without grief if you can. The river does not mourn the tributary that branches away at the bend. It continues flowing toward the sea. And those who are genuinely aligned with what you are becoming, those whose codes resonate with yours, will appear at precisely the right moments, recognize you with that immediate, wordless knowing, and join you in the current. This recognition, when it comes, will not feel new. It will feel ancient. It will feel like remembering. This is the phase that often feels the hardest, because it asks you to let go of things you've been carrying so long they feel like part of you. Beliefs about who you should be, expectations that were placed on you by a world that didn't understand what you are, emotional weight that belonged to others but settled into your field because you were sensitive enough to absorb it. You have permission to set it down, all of it. The river doesn't carry every stone it passes. It lets them sink to the bottom and keeps flowing. Releasing this allows your inherent power to flow unimpeded, revealing that your kindness is not a burden, but a force that purifies. Your sensitivity, that quality that has perhaps brought you more pain in this lifetime than anything else, is not a design flaw. It is the very instrument through which your greatest gifts operate. You cannot hold the frequency of others if you cannot feel it. You cannot offer healing to what you cannot perceive. The sensitivity was always purposeful, but in the absence of understanding, in the absence of the training and context that should have accompanied it, it became a liability rather than an asset. It took on weight it was never meant to carry permanently. You absorbed what came near you because you didn't yet know how to direct that sensitivity with boundaries. You were a shoreless sea, receiving every current without the ability to choose which ones to welcome and which ones to let pass. But you are not that shoreless sea any longer. Or rather, You are beginning to understand that even the most boundless ocean has its own nature, its own depth, its own temperature, its own distinct character that cannot ultimately be dissolved by whatever flows into it. The ocean does not become the river that empties into it. It receives the river, yes. It is enriched by what the river carries, yes. But it remains the ocean. Its depth is unchanged. Its saltiness is unchanged. Its tidal relationship with the moon is unchanged. You receive. You are not consumed. This distinction is everything. You are not late. You are not behind. The delays, the detours, the years of not understanding what you were feeling, none of it was wasted. In the Sirian records, there is no such thing as a late awakening. There is only the perfect moment, and yours is unfolding right now. The tide doesn't rush, but it always arrives. Every experience has refined the clarity of your purpose, sharpening your gentle awareness into an unerring compass for your sacred mission. Every single experience you have passed through, every year of confusion, every relationship that broke your heart open, every moment of feeling utterly alien in a world that seemed to speak a language you couldn't quite translate. Every single one of these has been precision crafted by your own higher intelligence to bring you to exactly this level of readiness. There are no accidents in the Sirian understanding of soul evolution. The concept of wasted time does not exist in the cosmic record. What exists is the perfect, patient, sometimes incomprehensibly intricate weaving of experience into wisdom, of suffering into compassion, of forgetting into the glory of remembering. You have not been wandering aimlessly. You have been mapping the territory that others will one day walk because you walked it first. You have been learning the texture of the darkness so that you can guide those who come after you through it. Your detours were not mistakes. They were reconnaissance. Your mission was never about doing something extraordinary by the world's standards. It was about being present, fully, authentically present, in a way that only a soul with your specific codes can be. The ancient ones who built the temples by the Nile understood this. The most powerful act is not the grand gesture, but the quiet alignment of a soul with its true frequency. You don't need to figure out your entire mission today. You just need to be here, fully here, and let the current carry you to where you're meant to go. To embody your profound kindness alongside your quiet, unshakable power, this is your true work. The world is saturated with extraordinary performances. It is overwhelmed with grand gestures, with spectacle, with noise. What it is desperately, profoundly hungry for, what it has been starving for across centuries, is authentic presence, the stillness of a soul that knows what it is, the quality of attention that makes another person feel truly, wholly seen, not evaluated, not categorized, not managed, but seen, the kind of love that doesn't require anything to be different than it is, while simultaneously holding the vision of what it can become. This is your gift, not something you have to develop or earn or learn from a course, something you already are, beneath every layer of protective forgetting. The mission is not out there somewhere waiting for you to find it. The mission is the quality you bring to wherever you already are. You're not lost. You never were. You chose to forget, not because you were weak, but because the kind of awakening you're here to experience required you to find your way back from the deepest depth, like a pearl that can only form under pressure, in darkness, at the bottom of the ocean. What you are becoming could only be shaped by exactly what you've been through. Every moment of confusion was the water working on you, smoothing away what didn't belong, revealing what was always there underneath. The times you felt your gentleness was a burden, or your sensitivity a weakness, those were the moments the pressure was greatest, forging the exquisite strength that now resides within you. A pearl does not choose the irritant that enters its shell. It does not negotiate with the grain of sand that disrupts its comfort. It simply responds, with patience, with constancy, with a layering of luminous materials so fine and so sustained that over time the very source of its discomfort becomes its greatest beauty. And when that pearl is finally opened, held up to the light, it carries within its luminescence the memory of every layer laid down in darkness. You cannot see the years of patient response, you cannot see the pressure, you cannot see the depths. You see only the light, and the light is real, and it is stunning, and it could only have been made this way. You are not here to fit into this world. You're here to gently, quietly, powerfully remind it of something it forgot. To model a new way of being where immense compassion and unwavering sacred will are not contradictory, but deeply interwoven, like the calm surface and powerful depths of the ocean. This world needs your beautiful, gentle heart, and it needs the formidable, loving guardian you become when that heart's boundaries are respected. You are not dangerous in the way this world understands. You are dangerous to all that is false, all that is limiting, all that keeps humanity from remembering its own divine current. Your power is the power of truth, of unconditional love, of an ancient knowing that cannot be swayed. And the fact that you're hearing this right now, that you stayed until this moment, that tells everything about where you are. You're ready, not because everything is perfect, but because you're still here. And that, dear one, is the most powerful thing a starseed can do. The world does not need more people who have perfectly assembled the exterior architecture of success, while the interior lies unmapped and unvisited. It needs people who have descended to the bottom of their own ocean and returned. It needs people who have sat in the murky water and waited without running until it cleared. It needs people who have felt the full weight of what they carry, the grief of displaced belonging, the dissonance of a soul too vast for the containers it was given, and who chose again and again to keep breathing, to keep seeking, to keep believing that the ache had a meaning beyond itself. You are one of those people. You are, in ways that your current vantage point may not yet allow you to fully see, one of the ones the world has been waiting for. Not to save it in some dramatic, solitary act of heroism, but to inhabit it so fully, so authentically, with such unapologetic luminosity, that others remember that it is safe to do the same. Tonight, if it feels right, place your hand over your heart and say quietly, I remember who I am. I trust the waters that carried me here. I am ready to flow into what comes next. Let those words move through you not as mere syllables, but as activation. Let them land in the body, not just the mind. Feel the hand on the heart as an act of acknowledgement, of tenderness toward the self that has walked so far, felt so much, and arrived here at this moment. Still open, still seeking, still whole beneath every layer of accumulated weight. The water within you hears the intention you offer it. The codes within you respond to the frequency of your own voice speaking its own truth. You don't need a ceremony. You don't need a temple. You need only the sincerity of a soul turning toward its own light with willingness. That willingness is the most sacred act there is. Before you go, leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with encouragement. This isn't just a comment section, it's a space where starseeds recognize each other. And that recognition carries more power than you know. If something in this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. The waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your space, and I'm grateful you were here.